Welcome back to Meytier Leader Speak. I'm here with Felicia, Senior Manager of Recruiting at Juniper Square. And I would love to first start a little bit broad. How did you get into talent acquisition and what keeps you excited about it?
Absolutely. This is a funny story, actually. So I started in college. I was an English and literature major, which, what do you do with those when you're studying? And I started at a call center where we called alumni asking for money. And it was a very hard job. I did it for about a year, and I had a mentor at the time say, hey, how would you feel about recruiting other students to come do this? So in college, I said, sure, I'll try it. And I never knew that at that time that was going to lead to now 10 years of doing this. But after college, I decided to keep going and keep recruiting. And I think what got me into it was I loved people. I loved talking to people. I loved connecting people. But I think as I grew in it, I've loved that it stays very goal oriented. There's always a number to hit. There's always a goal to achieve, always impact to make. And that has kept me very motivated as someone who is very driven and competitive. So pair people with that, and it's been a very rewarding industry to be in.
Mm-hmm. And how has the talent landscape evolved since you started in talent acquisition?
That's a really good question. I think people talk a lot about the move from being more in-person to remote and the differences that has caused. I think as a talent leader, it's been really interesting to not only see the different type of talent you can get, but also the difference of interviewing. We used to travel all the time in person, and a lot of companies still do, but there is a really big difference from sitting across the table like you and I are now and understanding body language and cues to remote interviewing and Zoom interviewing and phone calls. And I think there has been a big shift in not only identifying, the key skill sets and criteria you're looking for in candidates, but also in candidates understanding how to show their true authentic selves. So that's always something I have always, paid attention to and strive to provide a place where people can interview and deeply understand Juniper Square and what we're doing, but then for them to also feel comfortable sharing about themselves and having that translate remotely is interesting.
And obviously our audience is mostly job seekers.
Yes.
What do you think the most common mistakes you see candidates make are when they're applying for jobs?
Yeah, I think there can be a tendency when you're trying to apply for a job, and it can be a tough job market, to just submit as many applications to as many places as you can and move really quickly. And I think that loses some of the kind of personalization that any candidate brings to the table. So whenever I'm reviewing applications, of course, you look for the standard things. So hopefully you don't have typos and structure and all of that. But I think more than that, it always stands out to me when someone has, made some type of direct comment about why they're good for this specific role. What about their background correlates to something specifically in the job description. And I think it would be better, in my opinion, to take the same amount of time to apply for 5 jobs where you've personalized than 15 where you're just kind of running through them.
Yeah. And do you think candidates should be using AI in their applications? What uses do you support?
Yeah.
If any?
Yeah, this is a good question, and the answer is yes, I really do. I think sometimes when people think use AI, they mean I'm going to have my AI write my entire resume, and that's what they think of it. And I think you can tell when that happens. I think you can see where there's maybe some repetition or some similarities there. What I think is one of the best use cases for it is, say there's a job description. Run that through ChatGPT or some, model, and pick out the key themes of the job description. Go back to your resume and be like, okay, based on these key themes of what they're looking for, how can I make my resume or my cover statement or whatever it is really specific to this role? And now you just saved yourself a lot of time. So I think the goal is to use it to make yourself more marketable to the position, and use it to make yourself quicker and faster and smarter, not necessarily replace what is you in an interview process.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it's real? There's lots of hype about all the AI-generated resumes being screened through all of companies' AI screening systems.
Yeah.
Is that just hype or is that reality now?
I think it is reality. I think we are facing a lot of candidate fraud and different types of applications. I think that is where every organization and every candidate has a responsibility to use it responsibly. But also that's why we have interview processes, and that's why we have people meeting, whether it's Zoom or face-to-face, place to be able to circumvent that. But I think we're definitely seeing it.
Yeah. And candidates sometimes have this preconceived notion that AI in recruiting is just like an anonymous software that's screening them and rejecting them.
Yes.
How are you actually using AI?
Yeah, that is a really good question, and something that's been very top of mind for me and my team recently, because no matter what, our team is involved in the decision making. So I think that's the key crux of it. AI can be used to evaluate, to help drive more understanding and summarize, whether it's a candidate's resume, interview, whatever it is. But ultimately, it is the job of a human, of a recruiting team, to be able to take that data. I think it empowers recruiting teams with more data to make more informed decisions. I also think it gives candidates more opportunity to be evaluated, because AI has a lot more capacity than a set number of team members on a recruiting team. So yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah. And this is such a difficult market for candidates. There's general uncertainty. There's artificial intelligence. So many people are facing that just job search black hole where they send out applications and don't hear back.
Yeah.
What do you think people can be doing to stand out in a market like this?
Yeah. And I think this is where it kind of goes back to, I mean, you could say old school, but it's not really, where people matter. No matter what technology advancements there are, it matters who your network is. And this isn't the who you know matters sentence. This matters by going out to the events, by connecting with someone you meet socially, who might know somebody who knows somebody, and saying, hey, yes, let's get coffee, or yes, let's meet. And really using who you know to help advance yourself. I think we tend to, as a society recently, like to sit behind the computer instead of getting out there and really putting yourself forward. I think you're going to find a role that matches what you're looking for a lot more from someone who might know you, who could connect you. So that is one way I think candidates can really set themselves apart, because if I have a candidate coming to me from one of my colleagues or one of my leaders or industry connections, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I want to take a conversation.
Yeah. Networking can be so overwhelming for people.
It really can.
What is, like, if you were to do one thing this week to network, what would you do?
I think, well, one, I think your friends and family know a lot more people than you think.
And you realize.
Like, even if it's as simple as like you're at dinner with a friend, like, hey, do you know anyone in this organization? Or just talk about what you're looking for. I don't think you need to specifically go to a specific network event, though there's a lot. You can look them, Google them, there's a ton. But I think it can be as simple as starting within your immediate friend and family network.
I love that. Like putting it out in the world.
Yeah, put it out in the world. You're looking and you'll be surprised at what comes back to you.
Yeah. Okay. How would you describe the culture at Juniper Square?
This is one of my favorite questions that when I'm interviewing candidates, because I think a lot of the time we talk about culture as like the perks or the coffee machine or the PTO or whatever it is. And while those are all important and we should all, strive to find places that meet our goals in that way, I think at Juniper Square, it really is tied to the people and specifically the impact of the people. Yeah. So I always describe the team, my team and all the teams I support, as I look around and I'm like, wow, I'm working with the smartest people in the industry and what they do. And we're partnering together. These great minds are partnering together to solve really hard problems. And when you do that, I think that there is a natural sense of camaraderie and trust that gets built. And we are a remote digital first company. And there is so much connection that has been found just through that mentality of what are we solving today? How are we going to do it? Let's do it together. And I think that really just describes the culture and the vibe of Juniper Square.
And if there was one thing, what do you wish every Juniper Square applicant knew?
About Juniper Square? I think that Juniper Square is a very mission-driven organization, and I think it attracts people who are also very mission-driven. And your reasons and your motivations can be different, but when you're applying, I think it's important to even look past the criteria of your job description and your role and be like, am I aligned to what this company is doing and what this organization is doing? And I think Juniper Square is striving to make a lot of impact in the private markets. That's something when I joined, I was really interested and passionate about. So I think that is something, to be aware of. And we're growing. So we want people who want to come grow and want to grow with us. So that is one thing I would add.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.